Hey there, Ken French of Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Ken French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad you stopped by.
Are you unorganized? Are you paying a bookkeeper huge dollars and you're struggling as a business owner? Hey there, we're here to help you. My name's Ken French, VastSolutionsGroup.com, a VastAssetDefense.com company. We're here to help you take your business to the next level. One way of doing that is, yes, the thing that you probably consider boring, that being bookkeeping. But bookkeeping can help you to become the next wealthy millionaire, or who knows, maybe even billionaire. We're going to go over a quick presentation that's going to help you to really understand a little bit more about, well, bookkeeping and really ways to enhance your net worth based on bookkeeping. And you're going to be surprised by this few minutes. It's going to help you that much. I'll call it the top 5 bookkeeping tips for real estate types, as most of our clients are bookkeepers here at VastSolutionsGroup.com. Real quick, by the way, a little bit about me. Once again, Ken French. I'm a 3-time author. I've written for Forbes.com. I also do AI and tax contributions for the AI Journal. What else? I run VastSolutionsGroup.com. Been a manager here since 2006. The company and the entity has been around since 1969. Yes, we are a part of the Vast Asset Defense.com companies. We work with Bob Bloom and his group over there at Asset Defense Team. Hence the reason now we are both a part of and have co-founded to be exact, Vast Asset Defense.com. Once again, Ken French with VastSolutionsGroup.com. So let's give you an introduction. Bookkeeping basics. You need to understand the importance of the record keeping process, mainly for real estate agents or real estate investors. Most of our clients, 93% of our clients, are real estate agents and or investors, and they are really looking to kind of organize their books in such a way, and we'll go over some specifics here that you'll be happy that we're now providing such services to real estate agents and real estate investors. We're going to go clockwise. Expense management. You need to categorize and document all your business-related expenses. It's a way to help you with asset protection and just to get organized and to see what your rates of return would be, what you're investing in, if it's a good idea to be investing in a said enterprise or continue to be investing in a said enterprise. Financial reporting, you're going to have to do the reporting anyway for your tax professional. So why not have good books? As we say here, tax preparation. Now, if you are keeping the proper books, and some of our systems that are in place will help you to do so, you could, well, have everything in a nice, neat package and give it to your tax professional. Your tax professional might not have to charge you as much as relates to that. Plus, for asset protection purposes, again, we'll get into that in just a little bit. And then also, if you need to, for underlying entities or if you're a property manager, also bookkeeping will help in that regard, client financial tracking, as it were. So tip number 1, separate business and personal finances. You have to keep them separate. You have to keep your personal finances separate than your entities, your business entities. Now, what's one way of doing that? Now, you maintain separate bank accounts, number 1, or number 2, separate credit cards. So, and in general, if you only have one separate business, you should also keep that information different than your personal. But now also, if you have number of different entities or different, let's say, real estate investments, you should also keep those different in different and separate accounts. People sometimes say, why? Well, it lowers your liability, and that's a big element. As a real estate investor, a lot of people think, whoa, wait a minute. I don't have to worry about liability because I've got, let's say, umbrella insurance. Well, that's not quite accurate because there's so many loopholes within the umbrella insurance. Plus, it doesn't really go over slip and fall, et cetera, et cetera. That's sometimes very, very typical of real estate investments. So what I would say therefore, and by the way, this is what Bob does over at Asset Defense Team. Basically, he puts together structures to make sure that you don't get sued as a real estate investor. Because it's, man, people think real estate investor worth lots of money. Those are kind of the people to earmark for lawsuits. So there's a lot of upside with real estate, but there's also, you protect your downside at the same time. You need to do that. Anyway, so if you keep separate businesses in separate entities, in separate accounts, it gets hard to track. One way of doing that is good bookkeeping. Separately, obviously, as I mentioned, separate your personal finances also. If someone, let's say, let's say you own one business and you also have your personal finance separate, and someone does slip and fall, or they don't like your widget that you sold to them, and if they're separate, it's hard to get at your personal assets. Now, at the same time, let's say you have everything all jumbled up into one. Well, and you have a slip and fall, let's just say they go after your personal assets, they could go after all of your assets. You have a slip and fall over here in your real estate entity or what have you, it doesn't really matter. And then over here in your personal finances, if it's all separate, you can't go after the other assets. But if there isn't a separate entity and things aren't separate, it's very easy to go after the assets in the other in this case, in the personal finances. Now, let's talk about tracking expenses diligently. You have to do that. One way of doing that, bookkeeping software. We have an app here at vastsolutionsgroup.com we call vastbookie.ai. Now, basically what it does is it tracks your expenses in such a way that you don't have to use a bookkeeper in some cases. You don't have to, you know, go in and track everything on your own. The artificial intelligence does it really for you. It records your expenses promptly, it categorizes your expenses pretty much automatically, and then it reviews and reconciles for you. By the way, in most cases, or in a lot of cases, depending on your circumstances, it's free. If you're part of the Vast Vault, if you're part of a Vast Cares program, a number of different things that app is completely free. By the way, or of course, you continue to pay for a bookkeeper or that software. Totally up to you, but it makes it nice, meaning that software, vastbookie.ai, it makes it nice so you don't have to worry about paying for the software, that being QuickBooks, Quicken, or in some cases, you don't even need a bookkeeper. We've been able to take care of some bookkeeping expenses for a couple of clients, two different clients, where they're paying $299 a month. They don't need to now because we have artificial intelligence system that helps them, again, under Vast Bookie. Anyway, but it doesn't really matter. In general, this is not an ad, by the way. In general, I'm just telling you, tip number 2, track expenses diligently. You have to do that again, so it'll help you with your rate of return and also for asset protection services. Number 3, I don't care what type of software you use, it's so much better than doing it by hand. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe how many people are doing it by hand. We have some people who are doing it on paper, some people are doing Excel. It's just so much easier to use some type of software. Again, this is not an ad, but you can use vastbookie.ai or any other software. I don't really care, but just use a software. It makes it so much easier. It'll take less time. And by the way, all bookkeepers are using some type of a software, and that should just show you that there's some added value right there because they're paying for the software probably. If they're doing it for you, they're probably paying for the software. So that shows that it makes sense to do so. Now let's talk about maintaining organized records. This is tip number 4. Once again, I'm going to remind you, this is Ken French of vastsolutionsgroup.com. We're talking about, giving you tips as a business owner, if you're a real estate investor or agent, ways to help with your bookkeeping. Utilize a good filing system, establish a strong filing system that, for your business. That's really important. You have to have an organized filing system. Label and categorize all your folders and files clearly to make it easier for you as a business owner. Now, what I would also say is, those are two things. Utilize a filing system, label and categorize. It'll be easier for you as a business owner because you don't want to spend much time in your books and bookkeeping, or at least maybe you do. I don't know. You probably don't, but that'll make it easier for you as a business owner if you could kind of check it very quickly, check the inputs very quickly and systematically. Storing digitally. You want to do it digitally. Believe it or not, we have some people we come across where they don't store their organized records digitally. They do it paper, et cetera, or on a non-cloud based system. So, it's nice if you're doing it digitally. You could be in San Francisco and your books are in whatever, I don't know, New York, and then you could be doing the analysis online. If you do it digitally, virtually, it makes it so much easier because you could be on the go. You don't have to have all the, paperwork with you. Backup and protect. Just dealing right now with a client just last week, as a matter of fact, they lost all their stuff. They didn't back it up. So they came to us. They want us to back it up, retrieve it, and back it up. So that's one other tip as far as maintaining organized records. And finally, review regularly and then purge stuff you don't need. You could purge it, old stuff. I would still say keep everything for 7 years, but even old stuff after 15 years, you don't need, as an example. And when I talked about after the first 2, utilizing a filing system and label and categorize, I said you should be able to review it. I would say review your books on at least a quarterly basis, and then it's nice if you do it on a monthly basis because then you can see some trends from month to month. By the way, again, vastbookie.ai also does that. So it reviews automatically, and it kind of, the system learns. We're just now allowing our systems, our AI systems, to be used by everyone. And one way of doing that, our system called Einstein, vastbookie.ai is based on our Einstein platform. So as a result of that, now we're showing people what artificial intelligence is like, so they can use some of our books again, or I should say our platform. So now, as an example, vastbookie.ai is one of the things that we're now releasing, so you can see, and again, in a lot of cases, it's free, so you can see kind of the bookkeeping, kind of behind the scenes of how bookkeepers work and how our artificial intelligence works, and might be able to help you. Or, of course, you can hire a professional bookkeeper as well. But what I would say in general, you know, get a general working knowledge of your books, but hiring a bookkeeper might also help you. Our platform makes it so you don't need to have a bookkeeper. But at the same time, if let's say you're doing a huge number of transactions, you need a lot of help, you just go ahead and hire a professional bookkeeper. You'll be glad you did in some cases, because they'll help you with kind of acting as your coach, is what I would say in some cases. And some people are using our software, by the way, with a bookkeeper, because it lowers the amount of money you have to pay your bookkeeper, because the software can help and the platform can help in that regard. Kind of a summary: benefits of organized bookkeeping: improve financial decision making, efficient tax prep. That's a huge element. And then finally, enhanced business management. You can make better decisions because of that. And then here, I didn't put here also because, for asset protection purposes. So those are just some general benefits of organized bookkeeping. You'll be glad you're organized. I remember years ago when I said, when I took over the firm in 2006, I said, I'm not that worried about bookkeeping per se. A lot of good bookkeepers out there, but bookkeepers, one, it's a hard business, number one, and then also number two, I figured out how important bookkeeping was, because the bookkeeping should be the foundation of your financial enterprise. And I would say your financial well-being, because usually investors are working on their business. They don't want to be intimately involved in bookkeeping. So one way to have good overall asset allocation, et cetera, is their business. And if their business is organized, they'll be much better overall as their overall investment asset allocation goes into play, because their books are in order. So meaning, let's just say you as an entrepreneur, let's say your business is worth, I don't know, 70% of your net worth. Well, don't you want the foundation to be solid? And one foundation that is very important would be bookkeeping. The answer to my question is yes. You probably want to have a good foundation on 70% of your assets. And one way of doing so is a bookkeeping process, et cetera. So if, you're going to be happy, organized, and I say here, rich, if you have a good bookkeeping process. Here, hopefully, this is the top 5 bookkeeping tips for real estate types, either investors, agents, etc. And you learned a thing or two about bookkeeping, and you're going to be that much better off. If you have any questions, please go ahead and go to vastsolutionsgroup.com. Once again, we're a vastassetdefense.com company. Also, if you have any questions, go ahead and email us at info@vastsolutionsgroup.com. Lots of resources on our website at vastsolutionsgroup.com. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, you've learned a thing or two about the importance of bookkeeping, and maybe how you can help yourself as it relates to bookkeeping and your net worth as a result. Once again, Ken French, thanks for spending the time.